Smailz Radio 98.7 FM is the station you're tuned into, and the time on the side it's 17 minutes past 12 o'clock. Good afternoon to you, our dear listeners. You already know what time it is. It is Oil and Gas Watch on Smailz Radio 98.7 FM, where we break down the headlines, unpack the market gist, and of course keep you plugged in on everything concerning the petroleum industry. We're talking about, from price drops to refinery moves, supply chain updates to industry drama, and all of everything you can think of coming from the petroleum industry. And you already know I do not do this alone. My name is Blessing Robinson. With me in the studio as usual.
Amola today. Thank you so much for staying tuned, and I hope you get the best from today's show.
It's another episode. When we think of Monday, we are thinking of oil and gas.
Yeah.
So we are definitely here again to talk oil and gas. Right now, it's time to look at the news roundup for last week, and looking at the headlines for last week. Monday, July 14th, we had here Serap tackles NNPCL to court over refinery repair funds.
I think we've re-emphasized the issue of NNPCL, the refineries, and the corruption embedded in it. And Serap is a civil rights organization that look into civil and right issues. And currently, they've taken NNPCL to court, to the High Court in Lagos, last week, Friday. And they are of the opinion that the $2.5 billion that is being allocated to NNPC for rehabilitation of the 4 refineries have been mismanaged. Those refineries have the capacity of 445,000 barrels per day, and it has affected the output when it comes to petroleum distribution in Nigeria. And they are of the opinion that the NNPCL management should explain how those funds have been utilized. So I think it is a right step in the right direction. We should start seeing accountability. In the oil and gas industry. Yes, we should. Organizations like Serap should always come up to call them out, take them to court, ask for accountability in this regard.
It's a matter that has been on for a while. So, but how do you see this matter being resolved in the long run?
Lately, we've had several calls that our refineries should be privatized, and that's the only way we could end this debacle that relates to rehabilitation. They've spent over $18 billion in the last 20 decades relating to rehabilitation. And every time you spend those heavy amount on rehabilitation, you don't get to see the output. Are you getting me? So we've had several monies being mismanaged when it comes to rehabilitation of those 4 refineries. And to date, they are still not completely functional. So the only way out of this, Dangote came up last week and he's like, those refineries cannot work because they are outdated and they are not properly managed. And last week also, the CEO of NNPCL also said that sales of the refineries are currently unstable. They are considering selling those refineries. And I think that is the way out. It should just be a PPP arrangement, a private-public partnership arrangement where the government they'll still keep some stake. The private sectors in the oil and gas will still have some stake, and there will be like a complete partnership between the government and those private individuals that will drive efficiency.
Now let's look at extractive industries in Nigeria. So we are looking at it based on linking situation like this where we actually expect transparency and accountability. So how does this legal action against NNPCL reflect on the broader issue of transparency in Nigeria extractive industries?
It's going to help broadly on the long run because we have several parastatals outside the NNPCL. We have the NUPRC, we have the NMDPRA. So there are several parastatals and associations and stakeholders that are linked to the distribution of petroleum products in the downstream sector. So when issues like this start springing up, you see them taking them to court, you see accountability, you see civil rights organization calling them out. It's going to help put them on their toes. It's going to help strengthen the industry and bring about enhancements. So we know we have the PIA bill that has reformed the industry, but we still need a lot. We need steps like this from the SERA. So when they take steps like this, it helps to enhance activities in the downstream sector.
Forward, we get to see transparency and accountability actually.
A lot needs to be done in the industry. A lot needs to be done, and we need policies. We need the PIA bill needs to be enhanced completely. Though they are doing a lot, but we still need more. We need more.
Okay, let's actually take us to the headline for Wednesday.
Yeah.
That says Dangote plans LPG price cut, eyes direct sales.
Yes. So
linking the headline from the previous day to this one.
Yeah. The management of Dangote Refinery is aware of the fact that the retail price is of high difference to the wholesale price. At the refinery, I told you they sell 800, 705. Why would they be selling 1,300? So he is of the opinion that he is going to supply the retailers directly from the refinery. The same way he wants to supply petrol and diesel with the 4,000 trucks. That if the retailers keep selling at this very high price, like a 400 naira difference, he might be forced to do a direct distribution from the refinery to retailers and give them a price tag. The same way you have affiliated station of Dangote selling at a particular price, is going to tag them that, you must sell at this rate. And we know cooking gas is an essential commodity to homes. We use it like almost every day, and it needs to be looked into. And I want to commend Dangote for making that move, that if they don't drop prices, he is going to supply directly.
On Wednesday, July 16, we have here Dangote alleges oil cabals inflate fuel consumption. I think that's just that one.
Well, oil and gas industry is very deep. It has its cabal, and there are several numbers that have been flying around. Nigerians will consume 70 million liters daily. Some persons will say it is 60 million liters daily. But unfortunately, we don't have that record. We don't have any record that could say, this is our daily consumption of petroleum products. The NMDPRA, that is the body in charge of the downstream sector, does not even have a record, because the only way you could ascertain what we consume daily, it is through the pump. Through the pump. When I mean through the pump, because that is where the end users get to buy from. So, but unfortunately, there is no tracker that could track petroleum products daily from stations across Nigeria. So it is basically being speculated. Last year, the NMDPRA chief executive said, we consume between 50 to 55 million liters. Dangote is saying no. What Nigeria consume is 33 million liters. Are you getting me? For petrol. And for diesel, he is saying it is 10 million liters against what the NNB is saying for 14 million liters. So there is this back and front that, this will consume. But the bottom line is this. What we should be focused on is the availability of the price, not what we consume. Like,
really?
Do we really have availability of it? And prices needs to drop in real time. So as soon as all of that is sorted, we really don't have issues. Just the same way the management of Ipman came up to say, we understand that we need to know the numbers that will consume daily. But at the same time, what Nigeria need more is prices dropping at the pump. Nigeria needs to buy fuel less than 500 naira. That is when we'll start seeing stability in all areas.
As much as you've said that
Yeah.
Nigeria should focus on
Yeah.
the price dropping, at the pump and all. But let's talk about this cabal, and all of this
Yeah.
whole thing. So who benefits from this alleged inflation of consumption numbers?
The reason why you see all these numbers are basically during the subsidy scheme. You tell the government, oh, we imported this, and government pays the subsidized, they pay a certain amount of money for subsidy. So during those subsidy scheme, those numbers were used to get funds from government.
Okay.
Because as an importer, if you import 10 million liters, the federal government is supposed to subsidize that 10 million liters at a particular rate. So what they do at that time was inflation. People tend to say, oh, we imported 20 million liters, why they just imported 10 million liters to get more from government. So they were using those figures to make more money. But now that subsidy is gone, federal government has stopped paying subsidy. What you get is what you sell. Yeah, what you sell. So we just need to put a stop to those prices inflation, those consumption inflation. We need to put a stop to it and look at the main issue. What is the main issue? Price drop at the pump.
How can we put a stop to it? That's like the main thing. I believe that people listening to me are on the same page with me right now. How can we put a stop to it?
Well, we really need to have records.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to have records of distribution and sales of petroleum products across Nigeria.
Let's see a headline from Friday last week. That's the July 18th. And this one says Dangote ends fuel discount over widespread abuse.
Yeah, the corruption we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about.
So Dangote currently has 25 affiliated marketers. One of the marketers, most of them have retail outlets. So the strategy is this: we are going to collaborate with you guys. You guys have stations across Nigeria. You're going to get products from the refinery at a discounted rate and take them to your station and sell at a particular rate. Because of Nigerians, we want to peg the price. Because if those stations peg the price to a particular rate, it's going to influence all that station around them to drop their prices. So that is strategy to help Nigeria, and that's a good one. But unfortunately, those marketers decided that they will be selling some of the tickets at the refinery. Instead of taking them to the station, they sell those tickets or those trucks at the refinery to other marketers. They are trying to sabotage that effort of trying to create distribution across retail outlets. So because of that, they had to suspend that scheme. Because that scheme is a scheme that gave them a 5 naira discount. Just like the way Dangote sells for 8.20 per litre. For them, it gives them at 8.15. To get a ticket at 8.15, do all your logistics. Make sure at your retail outlet you sell at 8.65, 8.60. Those in the north sell 8.80. So there's this price tag for different regions, just to create a price stability, and that's a good one. But unfortunately, when they get those tickets at 8.15, they sell at the refinery even lesser than the Dangote's price, because his price is for 8.20. They now sell lesser, sabotaging the Dangote's effort. So because of that, they suspended the scheme, and hopefully they are working on how to refine it so loops like this will stop.
Corruption. Cabal here and there. Okay, that takes us to Saturday, headline from last Saturday. And this one says Dangote Refinery to hit 700,000 barrels per day with US crude.
Basically, the capacity for Dangote Refinery was designed for 650,000 barrels per day. What it means is that the production capacity daily is 650,000 barrels per day. That is what the refinery can produce on a daily basis. And it is equivalent to 100 million liters of petroleum product. Are you getting me? So it means that Dangote Refinery has the capacity to produce 100 million liters of petroleum product daily. And 100 million of petroleum daily, what Nigeria consumes is just 50 million. They export 50 million. Dangote has been exporting heavily to West African countries. They've been exporting to European countries and all of that. So they have the opinion that they want to add up. They want to make it 700,000 barrels per day, to meet up a total capacity. So they are working on it and trying to add up that hopefully by the year ending, they would have stepped up to 700,000 barrels. So the essence of all of this is to make sure that their output is optimized. With 700,000 barrels per day, Nigeria is sure of complete supply of a long product. No more scarcity